We should be out of here soon. It's not a bad agenda. Roll this thing on. It's 6:01 and the mayor's usually going by now.
I didn't do any singing.
How's ours, Jim?
He told me to.
I asked Jim to sing a song till I got from the bathroom.
Hey, Jim, can you sing?
Hard rock.
I told him it would be okay. Hard rock. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I can't speak. 2 minutes late, and I apologize for that. We'll begin our meeting, and we'll start out. Pastor Virgil Gardner, if you'll come, please, and give us our invocation. Let me mention as he comes that for those who would like a copy of the agenda for tonight's meeting, they're here in the pocket.
You got to have some fun, you know that.
That's it.
Right.
Yes, sir.
That's what life's all about. Let us pray. Dear God, we come this evening with thanksgiving, thanking you for all your many blessings, thanking you for your grace, your mercy, and your love. God, we pray this evening for those folk down in Texas, God, where every day it seems the total goes up, God. And God, children, and it's devastating. And we pray, God, that those that are helping those that they will watch themselves, because it's very dangerous everywhere they go. God, we pray for our country, our leaders, our soldiers, those in nursing homes, hospitals, and behind jail bars. Pray for our mayor and his cabinet, the commissioners, the city manager, the lawyer, his secretary. God, we need you today, more than silver or gold. God, we need you to help us where we're weak and build us up where we're torn down. God, bless our children, bless the school systems, teachers, students, nurses, doctors, essential workers, bus drivers. God, we all need you, God, because without you we'll fail, but with you all things are possible. And it's in the name of Jesus that we pray, and let all God's people say amen.
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 Thank you, sir. We are honored to have a local U.S. Armed Forces veteran with us to lead the Pledge of Allegiance this evening. Mr. Bill Wasson, is that Wasson or Wason? Is that Wasson? Wasson is a resident of Madison County since 1979, when he moved to Kentucky from Iowa. He is a veteran of the United States Army who served in Iraq in 2011. Mr. Wasson served in the United States Army from 1971 to 1974, and the Kentucky National Guard from 1979 to 2013. He retired as a Chief Warrant Officer 5, served in Hanau, Germany from 1972 to 1974. Mr. Wasson and his wife Connie reside in Richmond. He's an active member of St. Mark Catholic Church, VFW, American Legion, Rolling Thunder Incorporated, Chapter 5, Patriot Guard, and Madison County Veterans Honor Guard. Thank you, Mr. Wasson, for leading our Pledge of Allegiance for us tonight. Please, sir, proceed.
Present arms. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Arms.
Thank you, sir, for your service. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Cole.
Here.
Commissioner Goebel.
Here.
Commissioner Newby.
Here.
Commissioner Brewer.
Here.
Mayor Blythe.
Here, thank you. We've been informed by Carrie Hensley, who presents our new businesses as our downtown and so on coordinator, small business, that the business that was to be recognized tonight and to be represented will not be recognized as the owner, and the others who were coming to represent that business had an accident and will not be able to be with us tonight. So we'll pick that up at another time. Thank you, Carrie. We have in our packet the minutes from our meeting that was held June 24, 6 p.m., special call meeting June 26, 12 p.m. If you had a chance to look at those, may we have a motion, please, that we accept them as presented?
I move.
Commissioner Newby,
Second.
Commissioner Cole. Is there any discussion, question, comment about those minutes? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yes.
Commissioner Cole.
Yes.
Mayor Blythe.
Yes, thank you. Ordinance 25-19, an ordinance of the City of Richmond, Kentucky, changing the zoning classification for property located at 324 East Irvin Street within the city limits. This is a second reading. We will vote tonight. Mr. Attorney, please.
Whereas Greatview Properties LLC owner has filed with the Richmond Planning and Zoning Commission an application for a zoning map amendment at 324 East Irvin Street with .93 acres in Richmond, Kentucky. And whereas the property is currently vacant land with a zoning classification B2 neighborhood business and requesting zone change to R3 multifamily residential apartments. Whereas the Planning and Zoning Commission conducted a public hearing on the requested zone change on May 21st, 2025, in the course of which it received evidence and testimonies from persons in favor of and opposed to the requested zone change. And whereas at the conclusion of the public hearing, the Planning and Zoning Commission voted to recommend that the zone change be granted. And whereas the Planning and Zoning Commission at its meeting adopted written findings of fact as to the zone change, and the issue is now before the Board of Commissioners for final determination. And whereas the Board of Commissioners believes it to be in the public interest that it adopts the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission in accordance with the findings of fact adopted by that body. Now, therefore, be it ordained that, Section 1, the Board of Commissioners does hereby adopt the recommendation of the Richmond Planning and Zoning Commission as to the requested zone change. The property in question located in Richmond, Madison County, Kentucky, as to which the zone change shall apply, are property located between Irvin Road and Hill Street, which is currently zoned B2, 224 Irvin Street, .87 acres, Lot 1, and 325 Hill Street, .06 acres, Lot 2, Richmond, Kentucky, Deed Book 724, page 525, Plat Book 26, page 300. The Board of Commissioners does hereby adopt the written findings of fact adopted by the Planning and Zoning Commission as its findings of fact. In accordance with those findings, the planning and the zoning of said property shall be and hereby is changed from property currently vacant land with a zoning classification of B2 neighborhood business and requesting change to R3 multifamily residential apartments. The Director of Planning and Zoning shall make the appropriate changes to the official map of the City of Richmond, Kentucky. This ordinance shall be effective immediately upon its enactment following second reading and publication in accordance with the requirements of applicable Kentucky law.
Thank you, sir. We've heard the reading of ordinance 25-19. This is a second reading. May we have a motion, please, to bring to the floor for discussion and approval?
So moved.
Commissioner Cole
Second.
and Commissioner Goble. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? All right, there being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yes.
Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Mayor Blythe.
Yes, thank you. And thank you, Corey. Yes, sir. Ordinance 25-20, ordinance of the City of Richmond, Kentucky, amending the city purchasing policy to bring it into conformity with a revision to the Kentucky statutes. This is a first reading. Mr. Attorney, again, please.
Yes, Mayor. In summary, whereas the city has enacted a purchasing policy, a policy which has been amended from time to time since its enactment, and as a result of an amendment to the statutory law governing purchasing by the Kentucky municipalities and the Board of Commissioners finds it necessary to again amend this policy as set forth below. Now, therefore, be it ordained that, and pointing to the changes. In Article 3, it states that all purchases in excess of $30,000, that is to be stricken, and in its place exceeding the threshold amount in KRS 424.260 or KRS 45A, which is now $40,000. Paragraph 4, what is stricken is $500 and $20,000 and $30,000. In its stead, $1,000 and less than the threshold set by KRS 424.260 and KRS 45A. Now, in Section 4, first paragraph, what is stricken is professions exceeding $30,000, and in its place, the threshold amount set by KRS 424.260 or KRS 45A, which is currently $40,000. Further, in the paragraph beginning, purchases of supplies, equipments, and services less than what is stricken, $30,000. In its place, the threshold set by KRS 424.260 or KRS 45A, which is currently $40,000. And stricken $500 and replaced by $1,000. And the same in the next paragraph below. This ordinance shall take effect immediately upon its enactment, following second reading and publication in accordance with the requirements of applicable Kentucky law.
Thank you, sir, for that summary. Ordinance 25-20 with the changes that have been made now to conform, as it says here, with the Kentucky statutes having been revised. May we have a motion, please? This is a first reading to bring to the floor for discussion.
So moved.
Commissioner Brewer?
Second.
Commissioner Cole. Is there any discussion? Anything you want to mention, Mr. City Manager?
Absolutely, Mayor. Basically, this puts us in line with other cities our size and current KRS. So right now, anything above $30,000 would need to be advertised for no less than 7 days, no more than 21 days, and put out to bid. With this revision, that amount increases to $40,000. So anything above the $40,000 would need to be advertised no less than 7, no more than 21 days, and we would take bids and open them and go through the process. Anything below that 40,000 mark, we would still ask to get 2 or 3 quotes to purchase. Anything under $1,000, we're going to allow department heads to make their judgment to go ahead and purchase those items underneath $1,000, instead of them calling me every time they need to purchase something a little over $500, which doesn't go very far these days. So.
Thank you, sir.
I just had a quick question. Do we still, as a city, have the flexibility to put something out on bid if there was a reason that we wanted to, even if it doesn't meet that threshold? Could we still do that?
And we frequently do that when it gets into, depending on what it is and the timeline we need it. If it gets into the thousands of dollars, I'd say 10,000, we usually put it out, advertise it and go through the process anyway.
Well, you bring that to us first anyway. I mean, you tell us about it.
Yeah, I mean,
And
if
you-
it's in the budget, yeah,
Yeah.
you guys are aware of what we're spending. We're not gonna spend anything that's not in the budget.
Right.
Any further discussion? All right, again, this is first reading, and the second reading will be in our next regular meeting. Order 25-104, an order of the City of Richmond declaring property surplus and providing for its disposition. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas pursuant to ordinance chapter 34.02, disposition of surplus personal property, declares a list of the property which shall be submitted monthly to the city manager and then submitted to the Board of Commissioners for classification as to surplus property. Now therefore be it ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners that the July 2025 property described by the list as submitted by the Police Department, which is attached hereto, is declared surplus and is no longer needed by the city and is not suitable for its purpose for which it was intended. It is hereby authorized that this property shall be disposed by govdeals.com. This order shall be in full force and effect upon reading and adoption by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That's Order 25-104. May we have a motion, please, bring to the floor for discussion and approval?
I move.
Commissioner Newby,
Second.
Commissioner Brewer, is there any discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Commissioner Newby.
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer.
Yes.
Mayor Blythe.
Yes, thank you. Order 25-105, an order of the City of Richmond awarding a salt bid and authorizing the mayor to sign all documents relating to said agreement. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas the City of Richmond advertised for bids for the provision of salt for the City of Richmond fiscal year 25-26, and whereas the bids were submitted and reviewed by the use of eBridge Business Solutions LLC. Now therefore be it ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners that the bid for the provision of road salt is awarded to Morton Salt. Morton Salt will be providing a level of support and pricing outlined in the submitted bid proposal. The cost per ton will be $100.99. These purchases will be made through the Municipal Aid Road Fund. This was determined to be the best proposal submitted to the City of Richmond, and the mayor is also authorized to sign any and all documents relating to the agreement. This order shall be in full force and effect upon reading and adoption by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That's Order 25-105. May we have a motion, please, bring to the floor for discussion and approval?
So moved.
Commissioner Goble,
Second.
Commissioner Newby, is there any discussion?
Mayor, if I may.
Yes, sir, please.
I want to thank Wanda Bailey for facilitating this process, and this is quite a bit lower than we paid last year. Hopefully, we won't have to use much of it this winter, but
Yeah.
it is quite a bit cheaper than we paid last year.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? We're reminded that no salts like Morton salt sauce.
The little girl with the
I just
umbrella,
picture
right?
like this.
Hey, I'm afraid it's gonna
blue
melt
thing.
now.
I'm sorry, Jim, I couldn't resist that. Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yes.
Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Mayor Blythe.
Yes, thank you. Order 25-106, an order of the City of Richmond accepting 2 employees' resignations in the fire department. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas Austin Mercer and Charlie King in the fire department has submitted their resignation notices to the city. Now therefore be it ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners accepts the resignations of the following employees in the fire department. Austin Mercer, firefighter 1, effective June 30th, 2025. The Board of Commissioners would like to thank him for his service since 2024. Charles King, firefighter 2, effective July 2nd, 2025. The Board of Commissioners would like to thank Mr. King for his service since 2015. This order shall become effective immediately upon adoption by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That's Order 25-106. May we have a motion, please, bring to the floor for discussion and approval?
I move.
Commissioner Newby,
Second.
Commissioner Brewer, is there any discussion? Question I haven't asked in a while, Chief. Where are you staffing-wise?
We're currently, well, these 2 will be too short, but we also have a process ongoing right now, so both of them will have to fill for sure.
An ongoing pool, maybe, that's
Correct.
excellent.
We did have advertised for a list, and it's out for 30 days.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. No further discussion. Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yes.
Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Mayor Blythe.
Yes, thank you. Order 25-107, an order of the City of Richmond hiring a police officer. Madam Clerk,
Whereas the
please.
City of Richmond is in need of officers to meet the needs of the citizens of the community, and a recommendation for hiring has been made by Police Chief Richardson. Now therefore be it ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners that the following individual is hired as senior police officer for the City of Richmond, contingent on satisfactory completion of all requisite background checks. Effective rate of fiscal year budget 25-26 police pay scale. Pay grade 4, effective August 4th, 2025. Victoria Yun. This order shall be in full force and effect upon reading and adoption by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That's Order 25-107. May we have a motion, please, to bring to the floor for discussion and approval?
So moved.
Commissioner Cole,
Second.
Commissioner Goble. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Brewer.
Yes.
Commissioner Cole.
Yes.
Commissioner Goble.
Yes.
Commissioner Newby.
Yes.
Mayor Blythe.
Yes, thank you. The agenda calls for the Madison County 911 fee to be discussed by the Board of Commissioners here, and certain that folks in the community have certainly had concerns in many cases, not so much actually having the fee as it is a matter of understanding how the fee is arrived at for so many, and whether or not it's fair in some cases. So who wants to begin the discussion?
I'll
Commissioner Newby,
start.
if you will. All right,
Yes, sir.
thank you, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I asked for this to be put on the agenda. You know, to echo what you just said about all the questions and concerns that are raised, and in addition to that, you know, this is kind of sprung on the communities. They got the notice 2 weeks ago. So before we start any kind of discussion or opinions, I guess could I make a recommendation that could each individual government absorb the cost, at least this year, for these fees for their citizens? You know, out of the three individual governments.
I mean, legally, I think that's possible, right? I mean, we can go down that road and try to understand what each government's cost would be. You know, I'd have to do some legwork on that.
I mean, I think it'd be fair to the citizens. I know, Mayor, you and I sit on several boards where we made a lot of unpopular financial decisions.
Yes, sir.
Saving money and relieving debts.
Yes.
So, you know, in a lot of ways, the citizens have already paid.
Are you facilitating do I ask the questions to you or just to us, Mayor? How-
If you're open to them,
Well,
absolutely.
I'm curious about, and I think you even brought this up at one time, why did we not value where you had a flat rate, where there was never any discussion that was presented to me that there was talk of having a flat rate around other communities that have it here, but we never.
Well, actually, if you remember, when we had a combined government meeting at the Extension Office.
That was at,
And the safety committee that met about this for 18 months, which I sat on, Sean Sandlin at the time was the fire chief for Berea, and he did the presentation. And the presentation to the three governments was a flat fee for entry
$1.
doors, yeah.
but that,
It was a flat.
$75,
Yes,
right?
it was $75
door.
per
Per-
main entrance of doors.
yeah.
And it did, you know, like multifamily, I think the max you could be charged for multifamily units was $2,700. And then the most you could be charged for businesses and industries was $4,800. But now you do have to take into consideration the single-family homes that were anywhere from 1,000 on up, you know, depending on the doors.
Well, that's what I meant.
That
One
number does go
$1
up.
for
yeah.
a door.
Yeah, that's right. So, you know, My house has one main entrance. It's about 1,700 square feet, so mine would be $75. But that would jump up from what I was normally paying at 42, so.
Right.
What did the discussion with other communities say about a flat rate?
We looked at several different communities, how they did it, and we vetted a lot of options. We looked at water meters, adding it to a water meter fee. We looked at adding it to an electrical meter fee.
And
You know,
KU is, I don't feel like it's an option.
The problem with trying to add it to a utility meter fee is really collecting the money. You're going to depend on the utility company to collect that money. So for an example, I think we have 5 water companies in our county. I think
Yes.
that's right. But each one of them would have to collect that fund on top of their monthly meter fee and then, you know, administer that back to the county. And
Which would
that's-
be a fee for
yeah,
each one of them.
that's
You're not
just
going to
too
do it for
much to
free.
try to do.
Right.
You don't want to try to get into that. And
Well, a fee is something you use, is assessed because you use it. But if you're talking about countywide with Berea and Richmond and Madison County, that becomes a tax because you give it to everybody, whether they use it or not. When you use big business and you force them into paying additional monies on their property tax bill and I've heard exorbitant fees, whether they're true or not, they're out there. Somebody should jump on that and say, hey, no, that's not pliable. That's not what this is. But I think about Buc-ee's and other businesses coming here, and if they would have known at that time that they were going to pay, $3,500 extra in a tax on their property tax bill, they might have considered doing something else and going somewhere else. So I just think it needs for us to investigate this something to see what Jim Newby just proposed about setting up and seeing exactly where we are and what we need to be doing if we want to do something local with our own government money.
So you realize if we do that as the city of Richmond, what that would cost us?
Well, let's put it this way. What's it costing us now? When you put a tax on everybody here,
I got you.
Big
I have
business.
2 businesses, I know.
I know, and
Yeah.
is
And I'm
that
paying.
viable for you?
Well, it is going to be because I want 911 and I want to have the
911
access.
is a phone call and dispatchers and stuff. I sat on it. I taught it.
I got you. It's also equipment and towers and,
Well deserved. But at some point in time out of it, you price yourself out of the range. I mean,
well, we've
you've
known this for
got
30
big
years,
You've
right?
got big businesses that will not come here. I believe that. I could be wrong, but you're going to tax them on their property tax bill additional funds for 911 because they have succeeded.
Commissioner Goble, let me, I understand that concern. You asked a question, or you suggested, I forget how you said it, but it was like, do you know how much it would
Yeah.
cost? I think we don't. So what we may want to do.
We have some
and
idea.
Not to dump a great deal of work on anyone, but it might be worth knowing what the contribution would be, what
I mean,
what
the current
our
budget.
portion would be.
The current budget for 911 is $5,411,000.
Uh-huh.
And that's for the fiscal year starting in July. Now, to try to portion that out between the 3 governments, you're gonna have to look at within each city limits and then county, and that's gonna be a lot of work for somebody. So I'm not saying it can't be done, but I can.
Well, isn't it based on, 55% of that bill would be ours, right? Basically?
I don't think you can just do it with that percentage. Most of the businesses are.
Oh, I'm not saying that
I'm
would be
just
the
saying
end of it. You would have to hire people, you would have to have a place for them. There's a lot that would go into that. I'm just talking about, equipment and, I don't know.
I'm just talking about the cost, but split between the 3 governments. If we were gonna look at that option, we would have to probably talk to the county, probably the PVA, about corralling that information for each government to understand what each share is. Because if you look at Richmond's footprint, we're obviously the leader in industry and business. I mean, look around, we're the second fastest growing city in the state. So ours is gonna be probably a bigger portion than the county and Berea.
For sure.
There's no doubt about that. I don't know what that number is.
Exactly.
If it's a consensus of the group, I can certainly go down that road.
There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong at all.
My only
I think so.
concern is the churches and the nonprofits. I think once it got figured in, I don't think it was as much, or it was more than what all of us thought that it would be for that
I
group of
think we got a
people.
lot, I think we got, I agree, but I think we have more concerns in addition to the churches. But
Well,
Such
if we go
nonprofits
down the
and-
avenue of taking care of each individual's responsibility, I mean, if anything, for lack of a better word, it buys us time.
well, I mentioned this to the mayor earlier. Residents are actually, if you were to consider, in 1990, there was 83 cents per line on your cell phone bill. And in 2007, that went to $3.50 per line. So basically, at that point, in 2007, you were paying $42, basically, each house. So now, when you look at, if you were to look at inflation and cost of living increases, you're paying, as a resident, much less than, most people are paying $30, $35 for that. So you're actually, the residents are actually less, much less than they would have been probably if you had that, happen on an incremental basis.
We've been in a very good place for the past 20-plus years with the CSEP funding. We have 9 towers. It's a Cadillac system. We use those funds for the safety of our citizens, rightfully so. If you look at moving forward and the cost, the other thing that's going away is the landline fees. That provided revenue towards this budget as
Right.
well. And that goes away December of this year, actually, landline fees to contribute to that budget.
And can we make one other thing clear, that the 911 fee that you have on your cell phone bill right now, that's going to the state.
Right, it doesn't go locally.
Right,
They
that's,
kicked it out.
yeah,
That
that's,
goes to the state, not locally, so.
Do you know why we had the CSEP funds, right? We had it because we had the chemical stockpile. That all got destroyed, that's gone. And what we've got here now is taking up that place and that bill for the CSEP funding that the chemical stockpile's gone. I'm sort of like, Jim, why don't we kind of back up on this and see what it would cost for us to do our share on this, but not to do the Cadillac part that you're talking, or that their people are talking about.
I just want to say something
Yeah, go
else.
ahead.
Did
Did you just want to cut me off?
no, I was asking Chief Richardson to come up
Well,
first.
that's,
I want to make sure you
what you
understand
were gonna
that
do.
I know
that
what
what you were
911 is. I served it.
You don't have to preach to me.
No, I'm not, but I'm just
You're
saying
standing
we've
right
got to
with me,
figure
I
out a
know.
way to take our people and give them a chance to see what it's going to cost them business-wise and in their public, their houses. I mean, you even said you got one door and 1,700, and what that's going to cost you.
Mine actually, it's not much. It's-
Well,
I mean,
okay,
that's-
but let's just take,
If you go to the
what's
flat
that,
rate, mine goes
505?
up.
Yeah,
West
absolutely.
Main Street, your house there, what's that going to cost you?
$42. So basically, if you go to the flat rate, which is $75 is what they were considering, that would be way more than what I'm going to pay now, which is going to be, for most people, residential.
And let's not forget the business community that we've been
I'm with
enticed
you.
to come here, to settle in
I-
Richmond, to create jobs, to have families and stuff, and that we are going to force them to pay an additional tax on their property tax bill.
I'm here to facilitate the consensus of the board.
okay, and I just want to, I would like to make,
Then if you'll close it for us.
well, and I'm ignorant on a lot, I'm not ashamed to say it, I'm ignorant on a lot of this, because then I think I've watched other meetings with other governments locally, and they're pretty ignorant as well, because they're not getting a lot of feedback. That's why I want to talk to you, Chief Richardson, a lot of people, you got the guys that have been on these boards, and they know things that we don't know, good and bad. What's good ideas, what's bad ideas. So that's why I'm asking. I'm not gonna, BS you and say I know, because I don't. But I want you to inform me.
I can give you an example of nonprofits. I looked at numbers today, and so if you look at the nonprofit square footage, it's being charged, I think it's at 12 cents per square foot. And there's around 548,000 square feet of nonprofit space. It amounts to about $70,000. So if you're looking to not penalize nonprofits, that's what you're looking at removing from the budget, because I knew that was an issue that was coming up, so I went down that road. When it comes to what each government's amount is within their city limits and county limits, I don't know what that is. I would have to go down that road and work with the county to get those numbers. I do know in this budget, last year's fiscal year 25 budget was around $2,600,000. This year's budget is $5,411,000, and that does include 2 line items that are capital projects for long-term replacing equipment and things that come up. So I'm willing to go down any road you all tell me to go down. I certainly didn't devise this solution. I'm just communicating. I'm just pitching it to you.
I mean, you were on the
I was.
committee, and so was Chief Richardson, and so was Berea, and so everybody got say-so.
Right.
Right?
But I want to clarify something, because it's misconstrued in the public that this task force came up with the square footage model. We did not. We came up with the flat rate model with the per door model, is what we presented to you all at the joint government meeting at the Extension Office.
Yes, sir.
That's what we presented to you all on how to move forward with this.
Well, it changed. Who changed it?
It wasn't the task force, I'll say that.
Wasn't us.
Well, shouldn't we know who changed it?
Well, I mean, I don't know who changed it, but it got changed. And understand the resolution that we passed after that joint government meeting, we passed a resolution supporting the county to administer the 911 and operate it. And so that's, Berea passed the same resolution.
Right. So we really did agree, even, I mean, since we passed it.
We didn't vote
Although
on
it
the ordinance.
changed,
We didn't
Right.
vote on
We
the
still
ordinance.
passed, I mean, we knew what the changes were, right? Before we voted. It didn't change after we voted, correct?
I don't know.
I think
I'd have to look at the
it
timeline.
changed after we voted,
They have,
and then,
yes.
because we voted on that,
I'm
then we got
interested to
the
know.
change sent to us. But now we don't know who sent the change to us, or who made the change. I think we ought to find out who did that, personally.
There's no doubt it will be
I think we
extremely
need to move
expensive.
forward and not backwards. is what
Well,
I think.
exactly, and by
I
moving
agree.
forward, we need to know where we stood in the beginning, which is what you represented, and as the board, the task force presented to us, and then somewhere down the line, it got changed. That's moving backwards. We should know who did that and why they did it.
Well, that's not going to solve any problems. We need to look for
Well,
a
this
path
is a
forward.
problem, though,
I know, but the
city
path
manager,
forward
it's
is a
a
solution
problem
to the
all over
problem.
this community.
No, I-
What I brought up is, I think, until we get everything straight and lined out, I'm recommending that each individual government absorb the cost until we can get something fair for everybody.
All right, now, and in doing that, we won't vote that, but
Yeah.
vote when you're voting. But that would imply then that we want to find out how much. that
Yes,
is.
well, of course, we need information before
I
we
like
do
that idea. I think that's what we should do.
Now, I think we can find out how much that is, but make no mistake, it's up
It's-
to you all as the leaders to make those decisions. It's not the safety board that was put together to make this decision. We can provide the information, but you all are going to have to reach out to the other governments and the other leaders and try to get them on board with this. That's
Well,
not the task force's
let's call a
job.
joint meeting again.
I'm just saying, that's the task. force.
Nobody's called me.
No, they didn't call me either. I learned that we had a different change here on this after we had the meeting
And we're
that
gonna
you
have
all
another
presented to
meeting
us,
since, yes.
which in a lot of essence was fair, but it was tough to swallow. That's what you brought up, Jim. in
Mr. City
that-
Manager, how how difficult, I want to ask how easy, but how difficult would it be to put this into motion, to find out what is the portion for the citizens of the city of Richmond proper? And then what does that mean, even if we do find it
I would start the
out?
process tomorrow and try to figure out what the timeline is. The other thing we're up against is, if you're gonna change this, I mean, tax roll information has to be to the company that does the cards by probably mid-August, 1st of September at the latest. And to go in and try to change this as an ordinance, this is gonna have to happen quick.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they,
Because you've got to have that information to the company that sends out the tax roll cards October 1st, but you've got to have that to them a month and a half in advance. So I can make those phone calls tomorrow and report to you all how quick we can get that information. But it's going to be up to you all to reach out to Berea and the county leadership to champion this. I mean,
so
that's
do
up
we
to
go
you all.
through you to do that, or do we go through the
No,
mayor?
you pick up the phone and you call the
So I
county
can
judge, the
call
magistrates, the mayor
Reagan
of
Taylor
Berea, and the council people. That's not for this safety task group to do.
Well, I'm
We're-
not
we're to set
asking,
the table
I was
for you
asking
all.
for the city.
Yeah.
Our respect, do I go through the city manager?
No.
Or do I go
Probably
through the
more
mayor?
so here. Probably more so here.
You all will need to pick up and call your,
I doubt Reagan Taylor would answer my call.
I mean,
Jim?
I'm more than
Anything
happy
further?
to bird dog this
The
information.
newspaper
It's
guys
gonna be a
here, do your
nightmare.
job.
No.
It's going to be a nightmare.
Yes, sir. What? No, that's. I'm
There's
good.
no-
I mean, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No good
I just
answer
want to
here.
make sure that we have a plan of action.
Yeah, that's just a plan I
That's
want to
what's
go move
significant
forward
here.
with.
I'll start the conversations tomorrow, getting how much it would cost each government to absorb this cost in the next year.
From that standpoint, yes, and then if there's any contacting to be done, we'll facilitate that.
Okay, that's fine. You just
I
have to
think that's-
understand we're on a short
From the standpoint,
timeline here.
Madam
Very.
Clerk, of protocol, don't you think that would be more correct? Yeah, thank you. All right. Thank you, Commissioner Newby. Thanks to all of you for your input.
I live in a mattress in my buddy's basement, and I've got 2 milk crates as a nightstand. Just thought I'd get that out there to everybody.
There is Monica, there's a lady in my church who says sometimes when pastor says some things that she doesn't really want to know, she says too much information. All right. Well, we're going to get to enjoy
Tasty Tuesday.
Yes, indeed, Tasty Tuesdays. Are there any persons in the audience tonight who came to make public comments? Anybody? If you'll come, please, to the podium, give your name so that well, Debbie. But,
Debbie, what do you have after that?
You probably have my address. Debbie Vesey, over 204 Crimson Drive. And actually, I agree with Brewer, this isn't a fee, it's a tax, because everybody is having to pay this piece. And so, I agree, we've got to pay for it, we absorb the cost or whatever. But the issue is basically the way that the fee is being calculated by using square footage and without a cap. So I'll just give you an example, a real example. I have a house on Pembroke and a house on Stratford. The yards back up to each other, one street over. They're both the same size primarily. They each have 3 bedrooms. They each have the same amount of people living in them. However, the house on Stratford's like about 200 square feet larger, and they're being charged more. That's one example. Another one is that there's a house on Pembroke and another one on Pembroke, and it's similar size. However, one of the houses has a garage. So basically, the people living in that house with a garage are paying more. But in both those examples, each one gets to call 911. However, is the fire department, police, EMT going to respond any quicker to those houses or give them priority because they're a little bit larger and they might have a garage? So help me understand, what is the logic in charging by square feet? You know, if you look at small businesses, the fee structure for a commercial property, small business, is the same rate being charged for like a Walmart, the same rate. I know a business owner in Berea, he has a warehouse. He it's 11,000 square feet. He got a bit, he said, you're gonna be paying $1,100 in tax on your warehouse. And it's being charged the same way. But if you look at it, between small businesses and a Walmart, who's going to be making more calls? It's gonna be Walmart, right? I did also, there's 120 counties in Kentucky. Based on information from a 2023 report, which may have changed because it is 2025, the majority of those have either placed the bill on a water, utilities, or some have chosen not to implement the fee and basically absorb the charge. Now, there are 9 counties, we have 120, 9 counties out of those that are basically charging a flat fee for each development, for each dwelling unit. So it's a house, an apartment, mobile home, and they're using the PVA parcel numbers. Now, a few of those, out of that 9, basically they are using square footage, but it is for on commercial properties. So for example, if you have less than 2,000 square feet, the fee's set. If you have, anywhere from 2,000 to 5,000 square feet, it's going to be a little bit higher rate because it's larger. So again, basically by implementing it the way on square feet, you've made it more complicated for the people. It's hard to understand. You have an appeal process, which is great. I've used it, but a lot of people don't know to appeal. It's like the business owner that has a warehouse. Basically, I've gone to him today and I said, hey, put in an appeal. And he was like, oh, I didn't know I could do that because I'm a business and I'm being charged for it. The other thing is with the appeal process, it said go to this website. There's people that don't have internet access, right? And so how do they know that? How do they understand it? Other than the thing that they received. So I've been helping people try to do it. But luckily, the paper came out and it was extended. That was spread. And then also locations, you need to go to the library, you need to go here, and you need to go there. But there's a lot of confusion there. So basically, even if you would have to pay a little bit more, a flat fee would be fair to everybody. Everybody would be paying the same tax or fee, right, based on the dwelling, not because you happen to have a garage, or a finished basement. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank
Good
you,
points,
Debbie.
Debbie.
Thank you.
Mayor, if I may.
Yes, sir.
A little tidbit of information. The county they processed 4,200 appeals online and have had over 1,000 walk-ins. So, and the appeal process was in the letter. They did their best in getting that information out. We did our best in getting that information out.
Right, and there was a QR code that was
That's right.
attached to the card as well.
Anyone else in the audience tonight? Yes, please.
Mike Boyd, been a resident here since 2003 when I retired from the Air Force. And I think most of you guys up here know me. I've been with Madison County Veterans for a lot. Anyway, my question is along the same line as the other lady here. As a matter of fact, she did a lot more research than I had time for. But my first question I had was, what does square footage have to do with the 911 service fee? And that, I think, is something that we need to find out if we're going to go into this and look at it. And my second question was, can you tell me basically what $4.2 billion is needed for? Because that's what, when you go looking in the pages and pages of the 911 web, it says they want $4.2 billion.
Million, not billion, million.
No, it said billion. with a B.
It's not a billion, I promise. It's a million.
Well, that's what I read,
It's 4.2 million.
because
yeah.
that's what got me off guard, because here you said $1.5 million. you know, and now we're talking, you know, and I was reading 4.2 billion.
It's not billion, I promise, Mike.
All right,
You and I are friends, I wouldn't lie to you. It's
That's like
4.2
cash.
million, I promise, buddy.
trust me, right? But, you know, and I was wondering what so much money was needed for. And for instance, I wrote down, is it cost of current manning and equipment? Are we paying for police, fire, and ambulance service, paying for their jobs to be done?
No, it's so, and I don't have this in front of me, so bear with me, but off the top of my head, you know, there's 22 full-time 911 employees, so it pays them
Yeah.
their salaries, and best I can remember, I think that amounts to $1,200,000 and something, and I don't think that includes the benefits. There's fees in there for ongoing services for all the equipment that amounts to close to $522,000. You have to have ongoing services for all the radio equipment. And this is standard for any collection from the sheriff's office. There's $180,000 in there, which is the 4% fee for the sheriff to collect the tax, and they do that with any taxes they collect. And I'm just going from the top of my head here, so bear with me.
Well, you know, I actually sent this in as a repeal about my place through the legit channels. And that was the 28th of June when I sent it in with the 30 June deadline. Here it is, what, July, and I haven't heard anything yet.
Your appeal?
Yes.
Okay.
And I don't know who got that or who gets it or whatever, or if it even made sense to them. The 4.2 billion
Did you,
probably didn't.
did you get an email once you submitted it saying that they had received it?
I got it came on the webpage.
A confirmation that you,
Your submission, for your submission, your form will be processed shortly.
okay. They're working on, like I said, they have 4,200 as of today to process. And that's the online stuff and another 1,000 walk-in. So you'll get a response, I assure you that.
Okay, yeah.
But I promise you, it's 4.2 million, not
Okay.
billion.
I trust you.
Okay.
I trust you. You know, has anybody thought about checking out their budget and seeing what they've actually been budgeting for that? And with this, that being a starting point?
It's published. The budget was approved by the fiscal court, and there's copies of the previous budget and the current budget.
You mean the 911 budget, is that what you're?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I mean, that's where we should start from. I learned a long time ago, you never reinvent the wheel, so.
Well, I believe, if you allow me, is that not what we discussed in that joint governments meeting? So that's been done.
Okay.
You may not have right now access to the information, but it's available. That was the initial discussion. And the three governments met out at the extension office, and that's the first conversations we had, then what was needed out of that budget. Sure, sure. Thank you for asking. Anyone else in the audience tonight? Please give her the clerk name.
Glenda Dryden. I live on Baker Court. I went to the judge's office. Well, actually, I went to 911. Took my bill that said I had a 4,000 square foot house. I don't. Multifamily, it isn't. And I owe $286 or whatever. So I went out to the 911 and we just discussed that. And I explained, I said, there's 5 things on this letter. 3 of them are incorrect. So, and the chief was lovely. Couldn't have asked for a nicer time, really and truly. He said, we'll fix this, okay. So I go in, we go through it all, you know, living area only. So that dropped it down from 4,000 square feet down to less than 2,000. Multifamily, he couldn't really do anything about, but we did know that it's now a single family, it always has been a single family. what annoys me most about this is that then I go to the judge's office, oh, no, we have to charge you for your garage. Why? Well, it has electricity, yes. It has an electric door opener, yes. Well, we have to charge you for that. I don't live in my garage. My garage stores my car. It's attached. Now, if there's a difference between having an attached garage that's not livable and an unattached garage, I don't see it. If you're gonna pay for one building, which was an attached garage, why wouldn't you pay for a second building? It's just one of those little things that are so wrong, little things that happen that are just so wrong. And the other complaint that I have is I'd like to know who's gonna pay me back for the 20 years of taxes I paid on a multifamily dwelling. Because somebody in planning and zoning didn't do their job. And that's all. Thank you.
Glenda, good to see you. Schoolmates. Anyone else in the audience? Thanks to all of you. I certainly, I think this simply reflects the concern that there is, and questions and points well taken, and we'll have answers. We'll have answers. Mr. City Manager, please.
I just want to thank everybody for their hard work on Friday, 4th of July, public safety, police, fire, Parks and Recreation, Parks Grounds, just everybody involved. It was an awesome team effort. The new mobile command unit is awesome. The presence of our public safety folks at this event was the best it's ever been. Bike patrol, new mobile command unit, the presence of vehicles. I think we had, Chief, 2 lost kids, and we had them returned within minutes. The camera on that mobile command unit is just amazing. The telescoping camera, I mean, you can find about anybody on that park real quick. So I know they worked some very long hours, 18 and 20 hours. Friday, came back in Saturday morning and worked, and I just want to thank them for all their hard work. It's another awesome event. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. I agree, certainly, 100%. And one of the things that I think was really noticeable, and this is not the first year, but the interaction of, first of all, our police department with kids, and the things that they would give them, the, what do you call those things, Chief? The light things.
Yeah.
I mean, just fascinates kids. But the kids were able to have a positive experience with a police officer. And that goes farther than just what happened on 4th of July. So that's a wonderful thing that happens each year.
Mayor,
And all of our employees. But
I was glad the fire department was cooking the burgers because they had a big flame going when I was there. Chief Elder and Robbie Smith, I think they had it under control, but it was a little questionable. Everybody got fed, right, Chief?
did you find them? Yeah, everybody just did such a tremendous job. And certainly with some of the things that were taking place, folks handled everything well. And the community, I think, was certainly greatly benefited. Commissioner Goebel. Good. All right, Commissioner Brewer.
Well, I just want to say, Chief took me through a tour on that vehicle. That was awesome. And I watched it work when the child was there, but looking for the grandparents. That was outstanding. I think it's the biggest crowd that we've had in a long time at the 4th of July. Even though it was fantastic to watch the people work and have a good time. It was enjoyable. But that's all I got to say, man. It was perfect. Perfect night.
Yes, indeed. Commissioner Cole?
Yes, I just want to let everyone know, as a reminder, that it's time for the City of Richmond to begin work on our comprehensive plan. And while we're required to do this under statute, we're taking it very serious. We've hired a professional group to help facilitate the process for our comprehensive plan. And one of the very first steps and I really hope that our community members will participate, is giving us your input. So we're going to be holding a public forum, and by that, I mean the community at large is invited, and I hope people will come and share their ideas. It's going to be on Tuesday, July 15th. It begins at 5 and ends at 7, but you don't have to come and stay the whole 2 hours. I know sometimes it's hard getting off work and getting to a site by 5 o'clock. You can just slide in as you can, provide your input, and leave when you need to. It's going to be out at our Richmond Active Living Center on Brighton Avenue. I would kind of call that behind Steak and Shake out there, is how I would describe it. But on a serious note, the City of Richmond is putting a chunk of resources toward this comprehensive plan so that it's not just a big, thick document that sits on a shelf, but we want it to have meaning not only to the city, but to our community. It's a big deal. It gets used in a lot of different ways. So I just encourage our community members that can join us to please participate in that process. And if you can't come to that meeting, there's other ways you can participate as well, with an online survey and so forth. What am I forgetting, City Manager? I just want to make sure that we emphasize how much we want input on this.
No, I think you've touched on about everything. The public meeting on next Tuesday at between 5 and 7 is very important. That's when the public gets to show up and look at where we're headed with this 5-year plan, and it really is a roadmap for our future. So we take this very serious.
Is that in addition to the workshop?
They'll do a
workshop on
presentation
Thursday?
to the commission in August, and that'll be a joint meeting between the Planning and Zoning Board and the Board of Commissioners. The consultant will come in and do a presentation to you all at that time, but this is a public meeting next Tuesday at the Active Living Center. We encourage people to come out. We encourage people to take the survey and let us know what we think we're lacking in, you know. I feel like we've certainly going to fill the 250-acre void we had in park space. So I think we're good there. But there's other concerns with road infrastructure, sidewalks, bike trails. We want all that input so we can include it in it.
Yeah,
And
because
we've had some of that before, we just need to condense this together, I think, with.
But this will be our new plan, right?
right.
This is a brand-new
Yes.
plan. And with Richmond being one of the fastest-growing cities right now, I mean, there are some growing pains, you know. And so this is the opportunity for people that, you know, want to share their opinions and their ideas. I'm always amazed at what good ideas some of our community members have, and I just encourage people to participate in the process. Your information will be used, and it will be summarized, and we have a great group facilitating this. So we're investing heavily in this process, and I just encourage everyone to participate.
Commissioner Cole, just one thing you made me think of, and you just about touched on it then. You said something about this, it's not just going to be a big, thick document.
Yes.
And I want to add one thing. Document that comes from us. It's to come from the people.
That's right.
And then we will go through the process of presenting it and so on. But it comes from the people, and this is one of those times that the people have an opportunity to speak. And it's very important, very important. And there is a tremendous investment being made to be certain that the people will be heard. So please take advantage of it. Commissioner Newby.
I have nothing else, sir.
All righty, thank you. Thanks to all of you. I have nothing to add, and I do want to encourage those who enjoy it to go to the Irvin McDowell Park and enjoy the Tasty Tuesdays. We got off to a slow start this year because of the weather, but we've picked up now, so hopefully you'll go by and just enjoy, in case you've never been to one of those before.
Mayor, can I say one thing before we dismiss?
Yes, sir.
I want to invite the commissioners and all who want to come. I've already called some of them. The mayor is coming, he's going to be preaching at our rally at Pleasant Green on the 20th at 3 o'clock, 3:30, and we're going to be serving dinner before, so y'all come out and come on out and enjoy. He's going to be preaching, his choir's going to be singing, and we're going to have a whole.
Now, is the dinner before or after he starts preaching?
Yeah,
Okay, 'cause he's long-winded.
You'll say food.
I don't eat the last.
I've been to his sermons.
corner. First solo will be given by Brother Brewer.
I'll clear that place real quick.
But thank you, Brother Virgil. Yeah, that, it's your homecoming and rally, right? It's the
Yeah.
annual homecoming and rally at the Pleasant Green Pedestrian Baptist Church out on College Hill. It was College Hill? Out at Waco. All hearts and minds clear? Thanks to all of you for your input tonight, which was absolutely crucial. And it is a time when there's a great deal of conversation, and certainly about this 911. I think the extended date is the 10th, so it's only 2 days away. Is that right? And Glenda, some of mine were incorrect. So I know what you're talking about there, and didn't really make a lot of sense. But, all right, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Commissioner Cole?
Second.
Commissioner Newby. Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Cole?
Yes.
Commissioner Goble? Commissioner Newby?
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer?
Yes.
Mayor Blythe?
Yes, thank you. And thanks to all of you. Sean, is that you?
That's his wife with